you've been trying to build me up my whole life. I thank God for building. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. Thank God I'm living. Lately I feel like a stranger. Maybe I ain't from here. World's going crazy. How could that be unclear? Know that I'm a soldier. Hearts on my battleground, so I've been in the holster. I had to come back around. I ain't trying to hide away. I just had to meditate. I ain't got a lot to say, but the ancestors made. Speaking to the whole globe. Numbers don't occur to me. You can listen solo, cause you're the whole world to me. I'm so free. Remember being hungry. Groceries, night time getting nosebleeds to my nosebleed. Got a message to the police. We're using our hearts for what hearts are for. They've been trying to shut us down our whole life. I thank God for healing. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. I thank God for listening. Listen, you've been trying to build me up my whole life. I thank God for building. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. I thank God I'm living. And not for 1 second I believe what you're telling me. I know you invent the disease and sell the remedy. Universe is sending me centuries of memories. The very breath that I breathe is all I ever need. I got that Muhammad Ali up in my pedigree. You bet I be speaking my piece up in my 70s. Ain't worried about them threatening me. Just being honest. We ain't buying fear just because that's all they got left. We try to make love till we wake up. I believe whoever made us envision greatness. You know they trying to paint us with the same brush. Entertain us until we feel our grave up. Alright, okay, but when it's all said and it's all done, looking back at the trophies I won, I will only count one. We're using our hearts for what hearts are for. They've been trying to shut us down our whole life. Put your hands in the air out here. Thank God for healing. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. Own light, y'all. I thank God for listening. Listen, you've been trying to build me up my whole life. Hey, thank God for building. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. I thank God I'm living. I know who I am and I know whose I am. On your wings I fly, in your shoes I stand. I'm animated by love, I don't move by chance. Any stage I touch, any place I stand. There y'all lands, living in the world as it is. Crack the vessel I am, no more and no less than a man. Any possessions that I have are just in my hand. Balance them the best that I can. I'm not making no claims, but we're using our hearts for what hearts are for. They've been trying to shut us down our whole life. Hey, thank God for healing. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. Our own life, y'all. I thank God for listening. Listen, you've been trying to build me up my whole life. Thank God for building. You ain't gotta get us lit, we got our own life. Thank God I'm living. Just reflecting all the beauty in this. Do you feel good in here today? Say yes, I do. Do you feel good in here tonight? Say yes, I do. Do you love the person you came here with? Say yes, I do. Let me somebody in the house say love. Say love. Let me say love. Yes. My name is Brother Ali. I'm from North Minneapolis, Minnesota. Very grateful to be here. Go ahead, brother. You know, many times when we're in love, it requires that we're not only together when things are happy and sweet, but love requires that we tell the truth. Is that right? Love requires that we tell the truth. Is that right? Whether the truth is beautiful and easy to hear, and also when the truth is difficult to hear, we have to tell it. So, this is something that we say to our country in love. Welcome to the United States, land of the thief, home of the slave, the Grand Imperial Guard, where the dollar is sacred and proud, is swinging hard now. Smoking mirrors, stripes and stars, stolen for the cross in the name of God. Bloodshed, genocide, rape and fraud, written to the pages of the law, good Lord. The cold continent latchkey child ran away one day and started acting foul. The king of where the wild things are, daddy's proud. The Roman Empire done passed it down. They imported and tortured the workforce, never healed the wounds or shook that curse off. Now the grown-up Goliath nation holds open auditions for the part of David. Can you feel the job? Nothing can save us. We question the rain, we got rushed in and trained up. My fist raised, but I must be insane. Can't figure single damn way to change it. home of the slave, the grand imperial guard, where the dollar is sacred and power is. All must bow to the fat and lazy. You obey me, and why do they hate me? Who me? Only 2 generations away from the world's most despicable slavery trade. Pioneered so many ways to degrade a human being. It can't be changed to this day. The legacy's so ingrained in the way that we think. We no longer need chains to be slaves. Lord, it's a shame for display. The overseers even getting raped along the way because their children can't escape from the pain. And born with this poison, this hatred in their veins. Trying to separate a man from his soul. You only strengthen him and lose your own. But shoot that sucker if he walking in a throne. Remind him that this is my home. Now, welcome to the United States, land of the thief, the home of the slave, the grand imperial guard. The dollar is sacred and power is God here. Welcome to the United States, the land of the thief, the home of the slave, the grand imperial guard. The dollar is sacred and power. Break it down, say. We ain't giving money to these bums on the corner with a sign bleeding from their gums. And we say it's because we don't support a crackhead. What you think happens to the money from our taxes? Our government's an addict, except they got $1 billion weed killing brown people habit. They mad about Michael Jackson, but the president's a rapist, that's really what's happening. Men are still hustling backwards. At the end of the year, add up what they subtracted. 3 out of 12 months, my salary pays for that madness. Man, that's savage. What's left to get a big ass plasma and check out where they made Dan Rather point his damn camera. Only approved questions get answered. Now stand yourself up for that national anthem, y'all. Welcome to the United States, land of the thief, the home of the slave, the grand imperial guard. The dollar is sacred and power is God here. Welcome to the United States, land of the thief, home of the slave, the grand imperial guard, where the dollar is sacred and power is. Put a hand in the sky out here, you feeling good, y'all? Make some noise, say ho! Say ho, ho! Say ho, ho! Say oh, yo! Say oh, yo! Now scream, y'all! Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes. How many intelligent human beings in the house tonight? How many living, loving hearts in the place tonight? How many people in here that even if we disagree with somebody political, doesn't mean we don't still care about their well-being? How many loving human beings in here tonight? Full-grown father of 4, still in search of father figures. Hard to feel at home here in the body that my trauma lives in. Self-hatred still my opposition. I chop and parcel out the wisdom I've been given out atop the rhythm. I'm not a victim or a liar and I'm not afraid. Offer me a kingdom, if it's wrong I walk away. I know my average person's shame isn't adding up. Folk that know me throwing shade said I ain't wanted it bad enough. Seen so many change it gets strange for the spotlight. If that's what you mean, then y'all, you couldn't be more right. I'd rather feel ashamed than an Adam's weight of arrogance. Mention death's name, prepare for it, ain't fearing it. Atheists describe the God that they don't believe in. See, we ain't even at odds, cause I don't feel that neither. I know we come from a source that's much realer, a cause that all the seekers keep concealing. The seekers overcome the amnesia, feel the heartbreak bleeding all through my songs. My man Sadiq never led me wrong. I carry on for the love of love and for the hope of hope. This is what justice does, put you in their scope. For all the rawness flowing all through my songs. L2 twins kept me strong. I soldier on for the love of love, for the hope of hope. Catch a sudden buzz, an overdose. I got a knock upon my door, it was the FBI. Can't come inside without a warrant, but I talk here on the steps a while. They wanna question my traveling. What's the harassment? Power obsessed authoritarians to test what I'm channeling. He said his mission keep the innocent from dying. Had to laugh, little bit, to keep from crying. Our side is if we don't know about the COINTELPRO. Devilish drones that rain, heaven to homes. Never an empire rose without blood on its hands and face. They hate the poets for exposing the channel the rage. Sacred space, whether I'm in Iran or Lebanon, the south side of Chicago or Sudan. The power in the song is the truth, not the performer. My question for you is where's the honor in bothering a father in his home in pajamas on his birthday in front of all his daughters? Next time call the lawyer. I'm part of this resistance, blistering through my songs. The great Chuck D kept me strong. I soldier on for the love of love and for the hope of hope for every one of us. To hold the rope that won't be broke, my steadfastness, blasting its dope ass song. Cornell West never led me wrong. I soldier on for the love of love and for the hope of hope for every one of us. To hold the rope that won't be broke. Dope. Do you feel good in here tonight? Say yes, I do. Do you feel good in here? Say yes, I do. Give me somebody say love. Say love. I'm from a long line of writers and teachers, and spend all of my time with guides and seekers, and criminals and preachers, sifting through the secrets just to kick them biggest speakers. These kids just flowing my whole life long. Look in the mirror, still see my mom, writing songs for the love of love and for the hope of hope for every one of us. To hold the rope that won't be broke. No! Make some noise! We do something like this. Whatever comes up, comes out. We don't put our hands over our mouth. Listen, we say whatever comes up, comes out. We don't put our hands over our mouth. Is that all right? Whatever comes up, comes out. If the music feels good to you, move your body to it in here tonight, y'all. And whatever comes up, comes out. We don't put our hands over. How many people in here tonight are beautiful and love yourself? Make some noise. How many of y'all are ugly as hell like me and love yourself anyway? Make more noise. Hey yo, depending on the day, depending on what I ate, I'm anywhere from 20 to 35 pounds overweight. I got red eyes and one of them's lazy. They both squint when these lights shine, so I look crazy. I'm albino, y'all, I know I'm pink and pale. I'm hairy as hell everywhere but fingernails. Listen, I shave a cranium that ain't quite shaped right. Face tight and shiny, I stay up and write late nights. My wardrobe is jeans and faded shirts, a mixture of what I like and what I wear to work. I'm not mean and got a neck full of razor bumps. Not the classic profile of what the ladies want. You might think I'm depressed as can be, but when I look in the mirror, I see sexy ass me. And if that's something y'all can respect, then that's peace. My life's better without them, actually. To anyone in here, that's a little different. We say forget a magazine, these are God's fingerprints. You call me ugly, but can't take nothing from me. I am what I am, y'all. You ain't gotta love me. Make some noise, you feel good in here tonight, y'all. Somebody say amen. Say amen. Say hallelujah. Okay. And I'ma be alright. You ain't got to be my friend tonight. You ain't gotta love me, y'all. And I'ma be okay. You would probably bore me anyway, y'all. You ain't gotta love me. And I'ma be alright. You ain't got to be my friend tonight. You ain't gotta love me, y'all. And I'ma be okay. You would probably bore me anyway. You ain't gotta love me, y'all. And I'ma be alright. You ain't got to be my friend tonight. You ain't gotta love me, y'all. And I'ma be okay. You would probably bore me anyway. You ain't gotta love me. I'ma be alright. You ain't got to be my friend tonight. Ain't gotta love me, y'all. And I'ma be okay. You would probably bore me anyway. Do you feel good in here tonight? Say yes, I do. Do you feel good in here tonight? Say yes, I do. Do you love the person you came here with tonight? Say yes, I do. Let me hear somebody in the house say love. Say love. Say love. Say it again. If you got two hands, can you put them together like this? You think you can manage to do it? You might have to teach some of the people around you. No? You don't do what the rappers ask you to do? I respect that. I respect that. I started rhyming just to be somebody, to make people notice me at the party, and not be just a new kid that's albino, to make them say, yeah, I know, but have you heard him rhyme though? Now I take that same party around the globe. My story's connected with a lot of folks. I hope so, cause that's the only thing that I know. I know him so well, I tell him with my eyes closed, and I go with the feeling from the start. I'm blind in my eyes, and so I see y'all with my heart. To me, all of y'all look exactly the same. Fear, faith, compassion, and pain. And try your sweet name to mask it with names such as your religion or your class or your race. The same color blood just passed through our veins. Tears taste the same when they splash on your face. The world's getting too smart Gotta heal, get away from that feeling that hate. I gotta shake free from them chains. You see what remains, just a human being, end of the day. It don't matter to me what name you gave your spiritual reign. Close your eyes so you see what I'm saying. I started rhyming just to be somebody. I found out that I already was, yo. Can't nobody be free until we're all free. It's no me and no you, it's just us. Street preacher, what a fan once called me. I recall words I tried to live up, yo. Thank y'all for listening to these stories. Swear to God, y'all are telling with love. Do you forget it? And they say yes, I do. Did you come here and change things for the better? Say yes, I did. Do you love the person you came here with tonight? Say yes, I do. Do you love your country tonight? Say yes, I do. And then somebody say love. Say love. Say love. Say love. This is last word. My name is Brother Ali. Thank you very much. Everybody in the house, let it be your voice. Somebody say love. Say love. Go ahead, say love. Say love. Clap your hands, y'all. Thank you very much. Peace.
Remaining true without apology. The mission of we carry through and finish properly. Say Gambia to Guadeloupe, Paris to Napoli. Say Zambia to Honolulu, back to Tripoli. And everybody want a future living happily.
My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. We'll make a change. Yeah. This generation will make a change. This generation, yeah. My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. We'll make a change. I swear we will. I swear it's done. Yeah. Hey.
Can you blame my generation subject to gentrification, depicting their frustrations over ill instrumentation? Cause music is the way to convey to you what I'm facing, placing my life in front of your eye for your observation. Now if you can't relate, then maybe you are too complacent. Athletes today are scared to make Muhammad Ali statements. What's up with tomorrow? Will you lead? Will you follow? Improve your values. Education is real power. I reach them like Bono. So get rid of your self-sorrow. Add some bravado. Get wealthy like Wells Fargo. It's true that I am you and I am proof. Surviving through, we do what we gotta do. Yo, we could break the cycle, let nobody lie to you. Then maybe put our sons and our daughters in private school. Cause there's a mission we gotta finish before we leave. This generation is destined to do historic deeds.
My generation will make a change. This generation will make a change. My generation, this generation, yeah. My generation will make a change. We'll make a change. We'll make a change, yeah. This generation will make a change. This generation, now.
If you weather that storm, then that rain brings sun. Been a long time coming, I know change gon' come. Man, I gotta keep it moving to the beat of my drum. Last night I set the future at the feet of my son. But they thinking that my generation gotta die young. If we all come together, then they can't divide one. Don't worry about it, just be about it. Got a message from God, heaven too crowded. But I say, hey young world, you never look better. And I heard change start with the man in the mirror. This generation, I'ma represent a generation led by a black president. Now how's that for change? Who knew that can change? I don't even look at the flag the same. Hey, so when you finish reading Revelations, thank God for my generation.
My generation will make a change. This generation will make a change. My generation will make a change for good, for better. This generation will make a change.
Daddy good, good thing out of bad, bad news. I don't worry about people in my face. I hit them with the style and grace, and watch the ankles break. Whoa, whoa. I know you wish I would fade away, but I got more to say. Lord, they pray. Ow! Let me slip through. Why you tryna hold me back? I'm just tryna move up front, little more this, little less of that. Let me come through. I'm tired of being in the back. I'm just tryna move up front, little more this, little less of that, yeah. They tell me I was born to lose, but I made a good, good thing out of bad, bad news. All day, all night. Alright, alright. All day, all night. Alright, alright. Oh, wow. All day, all night. Oh, wow. Alright, alright. Oh, wow. All day, all night. Oh, wow. They tell me I was born to lose, but I made a good, good thing out of bad, bad news. Got a little soul, the world is a cold, cold place to be. Want a little warmth, but who's gonna save a little warmth for me? We know the fire awaits, some believers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. If I'm born again, I know that the world will disagree. Want a little grace, but who's gonna say a little grace for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I will die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what all the water contains, a little drop for me. See the sun go down, it's going on down, and the night is deep. Want a little light, but who's gonna save a little light for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what all the water contains, a little drop for me.
excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that I feel the world's planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see, but what holy water contains a little drop for me.
Yeah. Welcome you. Hey. I'm your big brother. What do I have to say to the kids?
Let go, life does get tough. No need to stress, hold you back too much. Let's go, I heard they found a solution. But where you be for the revolution? Might get rough, no need to stress, keeps you down too much. Wake up, I heard they found a solution. But where you be for the revolution?
I'm your big brother. I'm your big brother.
Let go, life does get tough. No need to stress, hold you back too much. Let's go, heard they found a solution. Where you be for the revolution? Where you be for the revolution? Where you be for the revolution? Where you be for the revolution?
You know, sometimes I think they don't truly understand me, you know? Because they don't. Yeah. Can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Die from the sicknesses if we don't seek the health. All eyes be my witness when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cards I was dealt. 3 Ks, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do will say today that's worthwhile. Will for sure inspire action in your first child. I begin my first now. Sometimes I speak and I feel like it ain't my words. Like I'm just a vessel channeling inside this universe. I feel my ancestors enrested inside of me. It's like they want me to shoot my chance and change this society. But how do I go about it? Tell me where I start. My destiny rerouted when I chose to follow heart. You chose to follow suit, but tell me what it do for you. Except where you down, now you trapped inside the cubicle they built for us. The first step in the change is to take notice. Realize the real gains that they tried to show us. 300 plus years of them cold shoulders. Yet 300 million of it still got no focus. Sorry, America, but I will not be your soldier. Obama just wasn't enough, I need some more closure. And Donald Trump is not equipped to take this country over. Let's face facts, cause we know what's the real motives. In the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized my people, made us all loners. Still got the last names of our slave owners. In the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized my people, made us all loners. Yeah, we can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Die from the sicknesses if we don't seek the help. All eyes be my witness when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cards I was dealt. 3 Ks, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do is say today that's worthwhile. Will for sure inspire action. Hold up, yeah. Trickery in the system, put my niggas in prison. All our history hidden, ain't no liberty given. We all fit the description of what the documents written. We been lacking the vision and barely making a living. We too worried to fit in, while they been benefiting. Every time you submit it, we all guilty admitted. The law won't get you acquitted, but you still ask for forgiveness. Put opiates and syringes, then inject his religion. Now many times I gotta tell you I'm a man in a mission. Many times I gotta tell you I don't need no permission. A human with supervision, ain't no living condition. I'm reaching out to my children, just hoping that they will listen. Start a new coalition against corrupt politicians. It's not enough out the prison. Too many murder convictions. Nothing family evicted. Nothing black man the victim. That's as real as it's getting. You should take recognition. In the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized my people, made us all loners. Still got the last names of our slave owners. In the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized my people, made us all loners. Yeah. We can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Die from the sicknesses if we don't seek the help. All eyes be my witness when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cards I was dealt. 3 Ks, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do is say the day that's worthwhile. Will for sure inspire action in your first child. Yeah.
Good evening.
So, I guess we were supposed to stay back until 6. So, we're really glad to be here tonight.
Yes.
Glad to see Minnesota in the house. You know how we do. Minnesotans come out cold, hot, whatever. Minnesota comes out, y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
They say we hardy people. I heard that term used a few
Yeah.
times. We hardy people.
And we so happy to experience all the time Minnesota nice. We legendary for that around the world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, so like I said, I guess there's some more people outside like trying to come in, so we'll just chill for a minute and let them get in so they can get this funk. We got to spread the funk evenly. Y'all know that's right, we got to spread the funk. Everybody got to get a dose. That's why I like Bernie. He likes justice. He likes equality. So we want everybody to get an equal portion, amen, of this funk. We're just so glad all the friends that came out. Some of you maybe have seen. How many people in here have seen the New Power Generation before? Wait a minute, let me get a show of hands. How many have not seen it? Oh, man, this is going to be fun. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I think we'll have 3 or 4 new fans before we're done with this thing today. I think we may be safe to say. Like I said, we're just very happy to be here and support this great man and this great cause. Yeah, give it up for Bernie Sanders, y'all. Oh, look at the signs. That's what we want to see tonight. Woo-wee! We're grateful to have so many friends in the house. Give a real great applause for our brother, Prince's nephew, President Nelson. Give it up for President, y'all. He's in the house tonight.
Yeah.
Got Brother Keith Ellison in the house. Representative Omar. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun night. Get some information, get some music. It's gonna be a lovely thing, man. We're looking forward to a great, great time. I'm Mr. Hayes, by the way. I was Prince's MD and was a part of the New Power Generation since 1992. So I've been around a little bit. And while I got a little chance, I'll introduce the band to you. That guy down on the end from Sergeant Black Pepper's from the band there. That's Sonny T, y'all. Give it up for Sonny T. That's the guy who taught Prince. Prince and Andre Simone used to go over and peep in his basement window and watch Sonny doing his thing on the bass, the guitar. Sonny do it all. He's our own resident alien. That boy is bad. But I mean from outer space, not from like across the border, from outer space. The dude is, Give it up for our drummer. First night he's with us, Brandon Commodore. Give it up for this young man. He's gonna put it down tonight.
I don't never clap for those drummers.
Yeah. He's gonna put it down tonight. From the group, another Minnesota great group, Mint Condition. And while we on Mint Condition, give it up for Homer Odell on guitar. He's also Mint Condition. St. Paul's own, y'all. Minneapolis, St. Paul's own. Yes, sir. And on that stage over there, on the special stage, yeah, we got our young man in that white suit and them magnificent hops he's got on right there. That's Greg Boyer. We call him the Dalai Lama. Woo! Parliament, P. Funkadelic, Maceo Parker, Prince during the musicology era. That's a bad man on that slide trombone right there. He's gonna bring the heat. Greg Boyer. Thank you, man. In that white suit, all the way pimping. That young man right there is the rap master for us. He was on quite a few hits during the NPG's early days. That would be Tony M on that guitar over there. They call him the Deacon, y'all. Tony M in the house. And some of you who may have watched America's Got Talent, AGT. How many watched that show, America's Got Talent? Few people. They're like, yeah, I don't watch that show so much.
I don't watch it.
But anyway, that young man in the sparkle shirt right there, that's Mackenzie. Give it up. He was on America's Got Talent. He had, what's his name? Simon Cowell standing on his feet, almost crying. He almost got Simon crying. He was like, he clapped and he was holding it back. That's Mackenzie, y'all. Did I miss anybody? No, I think that's it. Just FYI, in the back, he was smart, stayed in the back, so he didn't come out and have to sit for 15 minutes. Give it up for Prince's longtime friend, producer, Navy SEAL, jet pilot. Give it up for Andre Simone. He's in the back there, y'all. He's gonna come out and do something too. That's a bad dude. Be happy to have him out here. And like I said, I'm Mr. Hayes. You know, we do what we do. And we're very glad to be here. So I think, let's see. Did I talk enough? Oh my gosh, no, I got 9 minutes. So we'll tell some fun. Let's see, do we have any Prince stories?
Let's all please give a round of applause for the new power generation.
Who was that?
Y'all ready to start this thing off?
Here we go.
Oh, so y'all did come to party then, okay. We're here for a celebration, right? It's a joyous occasion, right?
Come on, y'all, put your hands together.
Twin City, let's go, come on. Let's rock. Come on.
It's time for you to go to the crowd. Do the hit, 'cause you got that burning desire.
Get your time. You got the horn, so why don't you blow it? You're so fine.
It's filthy cute and baby, you know it.
You know it. Come on, sing.
Get on top,
Sing.
you will pop. Don't you stop, show it up. Look up in the air, it's showtime.
Why should you wait longer? It's your chance. It could only make you stronger. Get your time. You got the horn. Greg, go and blow it. You're so fine.
It's filthy cute, baby, you know it.
Come on, sing. Put 'em up.
Get on top,
Sing.
you will come.
Come on, sing.
Don't you stop, show it up.
Break down your thing. Green. Hey, green. No, green. Come on. Green. Who's excited? Yeah!
All seven and we'll watch them fall. It's standing
You know this song?
love and we will smoke.
You better know this song.
With an intellect
Help us sing it.
and a savoir-faire. No one in the whole universe will ever compare.
Why?
I am yours now and you are mine, and
Together.
together we'll love through all space and time. So don't cry. One day all seven will die.
Minnesota, let's rock!
just me, but that's alright. I will watch them fall.
Yeah.
We are the new power generation, and we're so happy to be here with you all tonight, to be a part of this. But we always want to take time to pay homage to the reason. Thanks to Prince Rogers Nelson for everything that he did for the world, with his music and his life and his heart and his gift. He shared everything with us, and we're so grateful. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please give your ears to Brother Morris Hayes.
Been 7 hours and 13 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want, and I can see whoever true. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing will take away this food. 'Cause nothing compares to It's been so lonely without you here. I'm like a bird without song. Nothing can stop these moments from falling. So tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? I wanna know. I can put my arms around every girl I see, but they only remind me of you. I went to the doctor, and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, son, you better try to have some fun, no matter what you do. But nothing compares, nothing compares to you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Play the trombone, please. That you planted and buried in your backyard. They all died when you went away. I know that there would be sometimes hard, said it's sometimes hard, but I will said I will give it another try. 'Cause nothing compares. Nothing compares to
Thank you so much. Man, I knew y'all gonna be fantastic. This is dope right here. We want to introduce, like I said, we've been had him back there waiting in the wings. He's been warming up. What's up, yo? Warming up and getting it up. I want y'all to give a warm Minneapolis applause for our man, Andre Simone, y'all. Give it up. He's got an important message for you today, something we all got to keep in mind.
How y'all doing? You know, I just want to give a shout out to Representative Ilhan Omar. Got to scream out. Nina Turner, who I'm sure she's here somewhere. I mean, and Keith Ellison. Yeah. That's my man. We go way back. We stormed the castle back in the day. We did a Poor People's March back in the day. So just got to give a shout out to him. But if you don't mind, we're going to sing a song, a Bob Marley classic. Y'all going to sing with me? Yeah. I need y'all to sing with me. If you know the words, sing along.
Woo! Come here. Hey. Huh. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up.
stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Everybody, get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you don't know what life is worth, then you will look for yours on worth. Now you see the light, what you gonna do? Stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. We don't know what you're talking about. We know nothing. Come on, hit that third verse right here. We know what your love is worth. Like Rose is a risen man. Get through the people sometimes. But you can't fool the people all the time. Hey, stand up for your rights. Yeah, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. The revolution for the solution. Let me hear you sing. We need a revolution for the solution. Sing it, y'all. We need a revolution. Sing it for the solution. Sing it, y'all. We need a revolution. Louder. For the solution. I want to hear y'all up there sing it. We need a revolution. Oh, for the solution. Hey, hey. We need a revolution. Hey, for the solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't give up the fight. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, come on, come on. Y'all make some noise for Andre some more. Come on.
Stand up for your rights, y'all. If you don't do it, who will? We're gonna keep the party moving. Y'all feeling good? All right, let's get it.
There's a mountain and it's mighty high. You cannot see the top unless you fly. There's a molehill, a cooling ground. There ain't nowhere to go unless you hang around. Everybody wants to learn, it's already been told. And everybody wants to turn, it's already been told. What needs the money if you ain't gonna break the mold? And even at the center of fire, there is smoke. All that glitters ain't gold. Minnesota, you still with us? Come on. All that glitters ain't gold. Come on, if you know the second verse, sing it with me. Hey! There's a lady, 99 years old.
you some money if you ain't gonna break the mold. Even at the center of the fire, there is gold. All that glitters ain't
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much. We enjoyed you. This is the new power generation, y'all. Check us out. Thank you. We love you. Minnesota Twin Cities. Thank you so much.
Poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, was out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just kill cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound the engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work, I know just who you are. See, use it. Your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that sucker shit inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch, heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist, born on side a jellyfish I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tolerate the front. Shit I been through probably offend you. This is Parler's oldest son. I know murder, conviction, burners, boosters, burglars, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers dead. With kids and I wish I was fed. Forgiveness, yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in second grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm gon' shine like I'm supposed to. Antisocial extrovert, and excellent meaning extra work. And absentness, what the f you hurt. And passiveness never struck my nerve. And as a riff gonna be this case. The reason my power's here on earth. Salute the truth from the prophecy. I got loyalty, got royalty inside
This is
my
why
DNA.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans than racism in recent years.
I live about my DNA. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the maker emeritus. Tell me something, you motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. I'd rather die than to listen to you. My DNA not for imitation, your DNA an abomination. This how I this when you in the matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing, stacking up the footage, living on the go and sleeping in the villa, sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building, diamond in the ceiling, marble on the floor, pictures out the window, peeking at the window.
1, 2, check. Hey, check, 1, 2, yeah. Check. 1, 2, hey. 3, 4, 5, 6. Check. Microphone check, yeah. Hey.
Hit the ladder skate. Tell me when destruction gonna be my fate. Gonna be a fate, gonna be a fate. Peace to the world, let it rotate. Sex, money, murder, our DNA.
Hey. Hey, check, 1, 2, yeah. Hey, how's everybody doing? Yeah, all right. Yeah, check, 1, 2. Hey, check. Hey, check, 1, 2. Hey, check, 1, 2. Check, microphone check. Hey, yeah. Yeah, 1, 2. Hey. Yeah. Great. Check.
Chambean pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jordan, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el Latino gang. Yeah, está toda servieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. A ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza, yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve el culo.
Okay, one more time. If you can hear me, put your hands in the air. Excellent.
Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
Como Celia Cruz tengo el azúcar. Tú que va medio y se puede pecho.
Let's all please give a warm welcome to Sean Birth.
How about that music, you guys? Did you like the music? I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sean Birth. I'm a campus corps leader. All right. I'm a campus corps leader here at the University of Minnesota and co-chair of the Students for Bernie student group here on campus. How many students are out there? Yeah. So we highly encourage you students to join our student group here on campus. You can look us up on GopherLink at Students for Bernie at UMTC. And we encourage everybody to please follow our Instagram page. That's Students for Bernie at UMTC. Thank you. Before we go any further, I'd like everybody to please just introduce yourself to those around you. I'll give you guys 1 minute to do this. Just introduce yourself to those around you and explain why you're here. All right. Thank you. So now that you guys have introduced yourself to those around you, what's up? Okay. Now that you've introduced yourself to those around you, I would like to please explain why I'm here. My generation is being continuously ripped off by a predatory college finance system that puts millions, millions and millions of young Americans are being put tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt, and that is not acceptable. And many students don't even go to university because they're too afraid to follow their dreams and have the financial burden with them the rest of their lives. Now, I have been blessed that I don't have a large amount of student loans, but I know the vast majority of Americans cannot escape that debt, and that is why I support Bernie Sanders, who is the only candidate willing to take on the college institutions and end student loan debt in this country. And that's why I've been volunteering here on my campus. Now, we're taking on the most powerful and the wealthiest people in the history of the world. The only way to defeat organized money is by organizing people, ordinary people like you and like me, coming together to fight for a political revolution. Now, as you guys entered, many of you received a flyer for a barnstorm that's happening this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Wellstone Center. I know many of you guys right now are like, Sean, what the heck's a barnstorm? Well, I'm here to tell you what I've learned. A barnstorm is a group meeting where we'll learn about the strategy to win and get the nomination for Bernie Sanders and how each and every one of you can get involved. If you have a flyer, you can sign up using the QR code on the flyer. I hope to see all you guys there. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick quiz, okay? Let's see if you were listening. What day is the barnstorm? Wednesday, right. What time is it? 6:30 p.m. And where is it? That one was a little quieter. The Wellstone Center in St. Paul, right? How many of you are gonna be there? All right. Now, it's important to organize in that setting, but one of the most important things you guys can do is get the people in your own lives to vote for Bernie Sanders. I'm talking your friends, your family, your coworkers. You need to talk to every single person in your life and get them out to vote. Every single vote matters. We cannot leave a single vote on the table. Who's with me? Who's ready to build a movement powerful enough to take on the establishment class, the billionaire and the corporate elites? Who's with me? All right, if you just cheered, I want you to raise your hand up in the air like this. Everybody raise your hand. Look around, guys. This is how we're gonna build our revolution. Look around. Are we ready to win? Louder, come on, are we ready to win? Come on! Thank you!
Please welcome now Bernie 2020 National Campaign Co-Chair, Ohio State Senator Nina Turner.
Sister Turner's in the house, baby. Can I just say the new power generation, they did that, didn't they? Lord have mercy, they did that. Now I'm gonna bring up some folks who are serving right here in this great state. It takes teamwork to make the dream work, is that all right? Minnesota has a proud history of progressive leaders fighting for the rights of workers and farmers, and we are proud to have the support of some of those leaders. Their leadership has passed a $15 an hour minimum wage in Minneapolis, fight for environmental justice in Duluth, made Minnesota a leader on the issues of climate and in the progressive movement. Minneapolis, now I'm proud to have you put these hands together for your very own squad. There's almost nothing these amazing brothers and sisters won't do, including standing with Senator Bernard Sanders, let me shout out one. She's an internationally renowned as an environmentalist and advocate for Native communities, and being a powerful progressive woman, the great Winona LaDuke. An organizer, an artist, and part of a new generation of champions for justice in the Twin Cities. Also the son of a good friend of mine, Minneapolis Council member Jeremiah Ellison. Hello, somebody. He's an educator, a fighter for workers' rights, a voice for peace. Duluth's own Joel Cypress. And last but certainly not least, what our movement has done is to inspire so many people to get involved, to knock doors, to make calls, and yes, to run for office. And so we want to highlight 2016 Bernie Sanders supporters that are running for office right this minute. We have elections on Tuesday. Let's shout out Mike Mayu. He's running for city council in Duluth. And Nasli Yang for city council in St. Paul. Hello, somebody. Now, Minnesota, sisters and brothers, can we just do a ussy? Because how many of you know this is about all of us? So I'm going to ask our colleagues right here. We're going to stand, we're going to turn our back, and we're going to do a ussy real quick. We're Brian at and Olivia got us. Come on, let's do this ussy. Come on, let's do this ussy. Come on, let's do this ussy. Come on. Hello, baby. Got it, yeah. Thank you all. Oh my God. Let me just say, they did that. So from a son of this city, I just got to say these words. When I was in Queens, I talked about Brother LL, so y'all know I can't come through here without talking about Prince. Come on. This song came to a sister's mind, dearly beloved. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Hello, somebody. We are gathered here to get through this thing called life. Brother Prince had it right. Let's go crazy for justice. Come on, somebody. Let's go crazy for turning the dynamics of this country in the justice direction for the everyday people of this country. Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy for a revolution. Who's with me? Dearly beloved, said Brother Prince. So I'm just gonna lay this down and use the words of Congresswoman Barbara Jordan to accent what I'm about to say. And she said these words: what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise. That's it, and that's all. So when we have a leader like Senator Bernard Sanders, who's willing to stand up to the special interests in this country and say enough is enough. Somebody who didn't just start this journey because he's running for president, but he's been on this journey for a long time. All we got to do is roll the tape, hashtag receipts, baby, and we got all the receipts. What the people want is very simple. They want clean water, clean air, clean food. That's it. And that's all. What the people want is very simple. They want to live in a nation where healthcare is not commodified. Hello, somebody. That's it. And that's all. And so some of these other folks, they find people, but talking about Medicare for all who choose just is not going to work. We all got to be in this thing. That's it. And that's all. Standing up to a legal justice system that is rotten, a legal injustice system that is rotten to the core, when black folks get gunned down in their houses. Right here in this state, the wealth gap between African Americans and whites is at an abysmal level. We got to change that. That's it. And that's all. What the people want is very simple. They want leaders who are going to stand up for what is right, for what is just, and for what is good, not just to stand up in a primary and say one thing and do another thing in the general. Baby, we have in Senator Sanders somebody whose only special interests are people like the people in this room right here, right now. That's it. That's all. He doesn't say to millionaires and billionaires that nothing will fundamentally change for you. If nothing fundamentally changes for multi-millionaires and billionaires, then nothing fundamentally changes for you and you and you and you and you. What the people want is simple. Why can't we cancel student debt? Why can't we cancel medical debt? Why can't we save Mother Earth? Minnesota, as a nation, we spend a whole lot of time bailing out Wall Street. Folks asked and begged us to bail out Wall Street. Well, sisters and brothers, it's time to put a down payment on Main Street. That's it. And that's all. And so I'm asking you to join with millions and millions of people across this country to create the political revolution that Senator Sanders has been fighting for since he was a student at the University of Chicago, fighting for. That's it and that's all. Somebody who in 2016 was on the picket line with our sisters and brothers in the union fighting for their rights to collectively bargain. That's it. And that's all. Somebody who understands and doesn't have to kowtow to the special wealthy corporate interests of this nation who have no problem with putting their feet on our necks and our back, and their greed is out of control. But I know a man who's going to be the 46th president of these United States of America. Hello, somebody whose only special interest is you. So we need you to join this revolution, not just tonight with all of the thousands of people who are in this room, but when we leave this place, to be more committed, to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to text message, to tweet, to Facebook, to Instagram folks, and tell them why you support Senator Bernie Sanders. That's it. And that's all. Because only all that we love is on the line. That's all, sisters and brothers. Nothing big, only all that we love. And being similar is not the same. And we have one champion who has proven himself decade after decade after decade with the courage, the consistency, the commitment, the heart, and the soul to do right by the people of this nation. And his name is Senator Bernard Sanders. That's it. That's it. And that's all. So Minnesota, do something for me. I want you to raise one hand for yourself and one hand for somebody else. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, have the courage to stand up for yourself and the courage to stand up for somebody else. We are all in this together. And with these hands, we will have Medicare for all. With these hands, we will have college for all. With these hands, we will cancel student debt. With these hands, we will take care of Mother Earth. With these hands, women will get their whole damn dollar. With these hands, we will reform a criminal injustice system. With these hands, we will legalize marijuana. With these hands, we will give our sisters and brothers a fighting chance in this nation. And with these hands, we will elect Senator Bernard Sanders, the next president of the United States of America, baby, with these hands. Come on. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Not me, us. 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 Come on now. Let me hear y'all. What'd you say? That's right, that's right. Not me, us. That's right. You know, give my dear beloved sister a hand. Didn't she just rock the mic? How about Nina Turner? Now, it's important for us to understand that when Bernie Sanders says, not me, us, he doesn't only mean not Bernie Sanders, us. He means not you, us. He means community. He means we're all in this together. He doesn't only mean that it's only him who's not gonna be selfish. He wants all of us to have a greater level of community and connection and love and concern for our fellow men and women in our country. He wants us all to be concerned about all of us. He wants you to be concerned about our transgender community. He wants you to be concerned, and he wants me to be concerned about our young people who are facing climate catastrophe. He wants us to all be concerned. He wants us all to be concerned about a mom who lost her son because he had to ration his insulin and lost that child. He wants us all to be concerned that just getting sick in America can mean that you have to face bankruptcy. He wants us all to be concerned when a CEO can make $10, $20, $30 million a year just by denying claims to people. He wants us all to be concerned. Not me, us. Really just means us. It means us. It means us. I want you, when somebody, one time you're gonna leave this place tonight and you're gonna say, hey, I was at the Bernie rally, and you're gonna say, yeah, we were shouting, not me, us. And they say, well, what does that mean? And I want you to say, it means community. It means all of us in this thing together. It means everybody counts and everybody matters. It means very simply that, you know what happens to one of us really does happen to all of us, and everybody has got to get everybody else's back. That's what it means. It means we all do better when we all do better. That's what it means, y'all. And wouldn't you love somebody to be the president of the United States who believed that we all have an obligation to each other? Wouldn't you like the president to be as concerned about your welfare and the welfare of everybody as he is his own family? Yes, you do. I am telling you now that if we put somebody up against this 45 who is talking about the same beef stew warmed over, people are going to be turned off. We need a candidate who is on fire for community, on fire for all of us, on fire for everybody. We need a candidate. We need a candidate who is as angry as you are and I am that 3 people hold as much wealth as 50% of the bottom of our country. We need a president who understands that in America, the richest country in the history of the world, not only the richest country in the history of the world, it's at its richest point in its own history. America has never been richer than it is right this very minute. And yet the distribution of wealth is so skewed to the very, very, very wealthy that you don't feel rich, do you? You don't feel it. It doesn't feel that way. Not when you're carrying a big fat load of debt on your back just because you went to school like us folks asked you to do. Not when you're dealing with medical debt weighing you down. Not when you're dealing with surprise billing. Somebody says, oh yeah, you had to go to the emergency room. That EMS truck, it was out of network and it's gonna break your bank. I'm telling you, not when your wages have been stagnant for 40 years. Not when they're trying to break our unions down. Our voice on the job. The union movement. Let me tell you something. I dream of an America where the President of the United States extols the great virtues of the union movement. The union. I dream of an America where you might just see the president on a picket line. Maybe. I dream of an America who believes that you should work to get ahead, not just work to get back to work. We need an America where we can dream again, where we can live sustainably in the climate. Now, let me just tell you one of the things that Bernie has been clear on. When he says not me, us, yes, he is talking about a policy agenda. He is talking about health care, climate, equal justice, criminal justice reform, getting rid of mass incarceration, immigration reform. He is talking about all these things. But Bernie is also talking about how. He's talking about how. And this is very important. It's not just he's not just some big daddy who's gonna say, here's some stuff y'all can have. He's saying, you're in this. We're all part of this. We are gonna make this revolution. He's calling for it, but we're the ones gonna do it. He's calling for it, but we're the ones gonna do it. And I wanna make sure that when you leave this place tonight, you take in all of the love that you're feeling in this room. Look around this room. It's packed down here, man. We can't get nobody else in here. I want you to take that feeling that you have, and I want you to carry it to every neighborhood in Minnesota. I want you to carry it to the manufactured housing communities. You know, those places some people call trailer parks, but they don't actually move anywhere. You know, I want you to take the message there. I want you to take the message to North Minneapolis and Rondo. I want you to take the message. I want you to take the message to Kenwood, and I want you to take the message to Ely and to Duluth, and I want you to take the message to Farm Country, Worthington, Wilmer. Right now. And where he said, Mankato, yeah, let's get it from Mankato. Right now, let me tell you, about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a young couple, and they were dairy farmers. And they were telling me, look, we're milking about 100 cows, and they're telling us that if we're only gonna milk 100, we can't even stay in the dairy business no more. We gotta get big or get out. Now, I'm telling you, some of us who are from the city, we're like, yeah, so? Well, let me tell you, here's what's so. Everybody in this room has a farm history. Everybody in this room can trace their roots back to the land. And I'm gonna tell you something else. If they can't make it, neither can we, because the big monopolies hurting them are the same ones hurting you. We gotta have rural, suburban, urban solidarity, folks. We gotta come together. So I want you to knock every door. I want you to be on fire to knock every door. Minnesota has the highest voter turnout of any state in the union. And we're very proud of that. But even on our best day, we only do about 75%. That means we're the best of a mediocre lot. We got 25% more Minnesotans to go get to participate, right? So go knock them doors, go reach those people, go out there and get them. Now, I want to introduce to you a young lady I am very proud to have succeeded me. Her name is Ilhan Omar. Ilhan. Come on up here.
I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, for that wonderful introduction. I am so proud to have a predecessor who not only shares our values, but fights for it every single day. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Keith Ellison is a giant in the progressive movement. And so today we are also here to support another giant in our movement. We need leaders
like them fighting for the vision of America we all believe in. When I was a young girl living in a refugee camp, I had an expectation and hope of an America that I would one day find. The America we learned about in school, an America where every single person had the opportunity for a better life. An America where those fleeing oppression and violence around the world could find refuge. Where we would not be judged based on our ethnicity, our race, but we will be welcomed with open arms, given the opportunity to create our own destiny. An America where people were free to worship the God they believed in, or no God at all, with the knowledge that that freedom is enshrined in our Constitution. And most of all, an America that is guided by universal values. That America we deserve. That America is the America Bernie is fighting for. And here in Minnesota, we believe he can deliver. We have always believed in that America here in Minnesota, here in our district. The Hmong community, the Black community, the Jewish community, the Muslim community, and every other live side by side. And here in Minnesota, we don't just welcome refugees, but we send them to Congress. But I'll tell you what, right now, achieving that universal dream feels more out of reach than it ever has in my lifetime. The current occupant of the White House likes to talk about making America great. But every action and virtually every word out of his mouth is an attack on the very values and ideals that make this country a beacon of hope for me and the people around the world. Every day he fights to divide us based on our identities and hoping to undermine our values and democratic institutions. So we need a president who will fight every day for working people, for those who are regularly disenfranchised and purposefully left behind. We need a president who will put an end to the corruption, to the greed, and the systems that allow inequality to continue. And Minnesota, that is why I am here today supporting Bernie Sanders for president. I've had the pleasure of fighting alongside Bernie in Washington. And I've seen how he's running his campaign. And let me tell you, he has always been steadfast in his principles his whole life. Ones that are being finally accepted now. For a long time, Bernie was underestimated. His ideals weren't taken seriously by the establishment because he refused to fall in line and conform to the pressures in Washington. And no one knows what he has been through like someone like me surviving in Washington. And that's because in the sea of corruption, he continuously stood for justice and never bowed down to special interests. That's the resolve we need in a president. Bernie knows what Minnesotans know, that in the root of every injustice is an imbalance of power, whether through gender, association, corruption, wealth, or race. The ability to wield control over another is basis of injustice. Bernie believes, like I do, that we do have to end the stain of injustice, is to be steadfast in our values of universality across policy, both foreign and domestic. That when we talk about ending family separation and creating a more humane immigration system here at home, it is because we have a universal value of giving refuge that is rooted in our right to seek asylum. When we say that no one in America should die because they can't afford health care, it is because we believe health care is a universal human right. And no one in the world should die because of lack of access to health care or clean water. And just as we have a responsibility to house people here at home, we have a responsibility to make sure those migrating and fleeing oppression have a home here in the United States of America. And that when we talk about the Green New Deal or global migration compact, it's not out of self-interest. It is because as one of the world's largest polluters, we have a responsibility to the world to address the existential threat that is of climate change. Just as we fight for strong unions and better wages here at home, we must fight to end trade deals that offshore our union jobs to corporations that pay pennies overseas. Because here at home, we recognize the right to fair compensation is a universal value. So friends, I want you to realize something. My destiny, your destiny, the destiny of workers around the world are linked together. And these are not ideas. These are values that have been enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights for decades. And Bernie and I believe it is time to make that vision a reality here in the United States. But here's the cold truth. We can't achieve any of these goals if we don't build a movement that is representative of all of our aspirations, all of our pain, and all of our shared trauma. That is why we must build a mass movement of the working class that transcends faith, age, gender, and background. That's what we fight for here in Minnesota every single day, and that's the movement that Senator Bernie Sanders is building. Bernie knows that systematic change in this country has never taken place without millions of people organizing to demand that change. That is the history of the labor movement, the history of the women's liberation movement, that is the history of the civil rights movement, and the LGBTQ movement, and the disability rights justice movement. Because that is the only way we are going to defeat Donald Trump and place his cruel ideology in the dustbin of history where it belongs. Together, we are going to send a powerful message with this president. Your efforts to coddle white supremacy, to ban Muslims from entering the United States, to call people at neo-Nazi rallies very fine people, will fail. And just as a matter of fact, none of us are going back. We're here to stay. No one is better prepared to do that than Bernie. And that's why I'm joining him to stand up for an agenda of universal values. So I ask all of you to fight for someone you don't know in this election, to stand for universal values, because it's about time we build a movement that is a reflection of all of us. Are you all in? So I have a big ask. Everybody take out your cell phone. We got a minute. Find your phone. Okay. So I need you to text action, ACTION, action. You don't know. It's good to be clear. To this number, 651-419-4407. 651-419-4407. to get information on how to get involved in 2020 and be plugged into a Power Hour Bliss on campus immediately following this event. Everybody got that? All right, anybody need me to repeat it one more time? You all good? All right. As a refugee, somebody will text it to you. As a refugee who escaped war and persecution as a child, I am honored to stand with the son of a Jewish refugee who survived genocide. The acknowledgement of pain and suffering is personal for both of us. The fight for human rights is undeniable. And when we recognize injustices of the past and present, whether it is genocide against Jewish people, Armenians or Rwandans or Bosnians or Native Americans or more, we realize that that recognition isn't about punishing our political foes, but leading within a moral obligation. I am beyond honored and excited for a president who will fight against Western imperialism and fight for a just world. And I am excited. I am excited for President Bernie Sanders.
Introduce you. Thank you. Let me introduce you to the next First Lady of the United States, Jane Sanders. You look beautiful tonight. Let me begin by thanking Brother Ali for performing. Let me thank New Power Generation. Unbelievable. They were great. And they allow us to never forget one of the great musicians of our lifetimes, your very own Prince. Prince is missed, but he will never be forgotten. And let me thank my colleague in struggle, Senator Nina Turner. Senator Turner has been all over this country rallying working people in the fight for justice, and I thank her so much for all that she has done. And let me thank my former congressional colleague, Keith Ellison, your Attorney General. Keith and I have walked on more than a few picket lines together. And he is doing an outstanding job as your Attorney General. Keith, thank you so much. And last but not least, let me thank an extraordinary woman who 30 years ago was in a refugee camp in Kenya, born in Somalia, and is now one of the leading voices for justice in the United States Congress. Thank you, Ilhan Omar. Minnesota is always a very special place for me, and that's not just because it gets cold like Vermont. Minnesota, as all of you know, was the home of a very close friend of mine, Senator Paul Wellstone. Paul was the only member of the Progressive Caucus, which I helped co-found back in 1991. And today, I remain the only U.S. Senator in that caucus, and thanks to leaders like Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and so many others, the Progressive Caucus today has become a major force in Congress in fighting for justice. So together, we are going to honor the memories of Paul and Sheila Wellstone, because we are going to win in Minnesota. And we are going to implement that progressive agenda that Paul spent his life fighting for. Now, it gives me no pleasure to tell all of you what you already know, that today, tragically, we have a president of the United States who is a pathological liar, who is running the most corrupt administration in history, who has obstructed justice, who has used his office for personal gain, who has threatened to withhold national security funds from an ally in order to improve his political chances. This is a president who deserves to be impeached and will be impeached. This is, in addition to all of that, a president who is a racist, who is a sexist, who is a xenophobe, a homophobe, and a religious bigot. This is a president who is trying to divide us up based on the color of our skin, where we were born, our sexual orientation, or our religion. So let me tell you why we are going to defeat Trump in Minnesota and across this country. And that is because we are going to do exactly the opposite of what Trump is doing. He is trying to divide us up. We're going to bring our people together. Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, native born and immigrant. We are going to bring our people together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just the 1%. This is an unprecedented campaign, building an unprecedented grassroots movement, and that is why we're going to defeat Trump. We are going to win, and we are going to transform this country because of the movement we are building. Our movement has people of every race, every gender identity, every religion, every ethnicity, and working class people from all walks of life. That is our movement. We will not allow ourselves to be divided up because, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us, we share a common humanity, and we are strongest when we come together. You know, people look at me and they say, Bernie, you are a Jewish guy whose father came to this country from Poland at the age of 17 without a nickel in his pocket. And let me say this. Growing up in a family that struggled economically powerfully influenced my life and my values. I know who I am and where I came from. And then people look at Ilhan, a Muslim woman from Somalia who spent years in a refugee camp in Kenya. And let me tell you, what Ilhan will tell you is her background heavily influenced the values that she takes to Congress. Ilhan Omar knows where she came from. People say that Ilhan and I make an odd political couple. But in fact, there is really nothing odd about it at all. Ilhan and I share a common link as the descendants of families who fled violence and poverty and who came to this country as immigrants. But that is not just my story or Ilhan's story. That is the story of America. Throughout our history, all people other than our Native American brothers and sisters have come to America from someplace else throughout the world. My wife's family came from Ireland. Nina Turner's family and Keith Ellison's family came from Africa. And whether our families came to America by choice, voluntarily, by necessity, or in chains, every one of our families has contributed to building this great nation. It is the fundamental underpinning of our democracy captured in the motto, E pluribus unum, from the many, one. And despite our different backgrounds, our different experiences, all of us in this movement are fighting to make life better for every single person in this country, not just the people who look like us. When I think about the policy work that I have done with Ilhan, it is not some narrow agenda targeted at people who come from one place or another, or work that just benefits one group of people. It is an agenda that uplifts all of us. Just a few examples. Ilhan in the U.S. House and I in the Senate have introduced legislation to make all public colleges and universities tuition-free. And to eliminate all student debt in America. Ilhan and I are working together to make sure that all children in America have nutritious food and that we eliminate hunger in America. That's not just black children or white children or Latino children. That is all children in America. And Ilhan and I are working together to implement a Green New Deal that will not just benefit you, but your kids, your grandchildren, and future generations. And I see some young people here from the Sunrise Movement. Thank you, guys. The agenda that we are fighting for and the movement, the grassroots movement we are building is a multi-generational, multiracial, working class movement that says proudly and loudly, we are tired of the exploitation of working people in this country. Bringing people together around the principles of justice is something that Donald Trump and his ilk will never understand. They thrive on division. They thrive on hatred. They thrive on pitting people against one another who come from different places or who worship God differently. And no one knows that better than Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. There is no member of Congress who, in the modern history of this country, has been subjected to more vitriolic, more hate-filled, more racist attacks from Donald Trump and some of his supporters than this extraordinarily brave Congresswoman. And Minneapolis, I thank you for having Ilhan's back on these fights. Ilhan has stood up to Trump, and we will stand with her. Our campaign is not just about ending a very corrupt political system. It is not just about ending a very rigged economy. It is about transforming our national priorities and our system of values. Unlike Trump and his billionaire friends, we do not worship greed, selfishness, and corruption. We understand that we are stronger, healthier, and happier as human beings when we reach out to others and understand that as human beings, we are all in this together. We must all be prepared, as Ilhan has shown, to fight for everyone who is struggling. To fight for the 50% of American families who are living paycheck to paycheck. To fight for every family that cannot afford the health care they need. To fight for every family that cannot provide the quality education their kids deserve. To fight for everyone who confronts racism, anti-Semitism, sexism, religious bigotry, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia. So tonight I would like you all to look around you, because this is what this campaign is about. Find somebody, look at somebody who may have a different color skin than you, maybe have a different religion than you, somebody you don't know. Maybe they love or they pray in a different way than you do. And my question now for you, and it's the fundamental question not just for you, but for the American people. Are we as a people prepared to fight for each other just as we will fight for ourselves? Are you willing to fight for our immigrant neighbors, even if you are native born? Are you willing to stand up and fight back against hatred and bigotry, even if it is not directed at you? Are you willing to fight for a future generation of people who aren't even born yet, so that they can live on a planet which is healthy and habitable? Because that is what I am asking of you tonight, to fight and create an economy and a government that works for all of us in our proud diversity on behalf of people we don't even know and may never know. That is what this campaign is about. Nelson, as all of you know, Nelson Mandela was one of the great heroes of the 20th century. He was a man who spent much of his adult life in jail, fighting the abomination of apartheid in South Africa. And Mandela made a statement once that I have never forgotten, and let me quote it to you, because it's a very profound statement. And he said, and I quote, "Everything seems impossible until it is done." Everything seems impossible until it is done. So in Mandela's own case, who would have believed that a man sentenced to hard labor, spending years in jail, would walk out of that jail and become the president of his country? Who would have believed that a young girl born in poverty in Somalia, living in a refugee camp in Kenya, would someday become an extraordinary member of the United States Congress? So what Mandela was saying, which is a profound truth, is that the establishment, whether it's the economic powers, whether it's the political establishment, whether it's the corporate media establishment, they want you to believe that real change, substantive change, is not possible. That all we can do is nibble around the edges. Well, I respectfully disagree. If we have the courage to think big, not small, if we have the courage to take on the greed and corruption of the corporate elite, if we have the courage to get heavily involved in the political process, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. So let me tell you briefly about the progressive agenda that some will say is impossible today, but I have absolute confidence that together we will accomplish. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, when 3 people in America own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Can you believe that? 3 people. When 49% of all new income is going to the top 1%. And when enormously profitable corporations like Amazon and many others make billions of dollars a year in profits, they don't pay a nickel in federal income tax. So tonight we say to that corporate elite, yes, under our administration, you will begin to pay your fair share of taxes. Tonight we declare from the bottom of our hearts that health care is a human right, not a privilege. The current healthcare system is dysfunctional, is wasteful, and is incredibly cruel. Together, we will end the insanity of spending twice as much on healthcare per capita as do the people of any other nation, while 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. 30,000 die needlessly every single year, and 500,000 families go bankrupt because of medical debt. We will end the absurdity of America paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Last year, the insurance companies and the drug companies, the healthcare industry made over $100 billion in profit. Well, they better spend that money quickly because that profiteering is going to end very soon. Now, they can spend all of the money they want on TV ads, and they could buy all of the think tanks that they want, lying about what Medicare for All is. But at the end of the day, history is on our side. We will pass a Medicare for All single-payer program. Every person in this arena understands that education is a human right which enriches us all. That's what... Learning is what human life is about, and we need a good education to get the good jobs that are out there in a competitive global economy. So this is what we are going to do. We're going to bring about a revolution in education in America. We will provide universal, high-quality, affordable pre-K education for all kids in this country. We will provide high-quality public education that gives our teachers the respect and compensation they deserve. We are going to make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel all student debt. If Congress, against my vote, could bail out the crooks on Wall Street, if Congress could give hundreds of billions in tax breaks and subsidies to the fossil fuel industry, if Congress can vote to spend more money on the military than the next 10 nations combined, if Trump and his friends could give over $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large corporations, you know what? We could cancel all student debt in America. can do that and pay for that by imposing a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. In a rapidly changing economy, every worker in this country deserves a living wage, at least $15 an hour. Women do not need 80 cents on the dollar. They need the whole damn dollar. And we are going to make it easier, not harder, for workers to join unions. In my view, every American who wants a job should be able to find a job through a federal jobs guarantee program. There is an enormous amount of work to be done. We have to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. We have to transform our energy system. We have to create a first-class child care system, improve education. We can create many millions of jobs and make America strong in the process. Brothers and sisters, unlike Donald Trump, we understand that climate change is not a hoax, but rather a grave, grave threat to the future of our country and the entire planet. That is why together we will implement a program consistent with the goals of the Green New Deal. I am proud to tell you that the climate change proposal that we recently introduced is the boldest, most comprehensive climate change plan ever introduced by any candidate for federal office. Under our plan, we will create up to 20 million jobs. Because we're going to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energies. And instead of denying the reality of climate change, our administration will lead the world in transforming the global energy system. And at a time when 500,000 Americans tonight, as we speak, are sleeping out on the streets or are in emergency shelters, when 19 million people are spending half of their limited income on housing, when gentrification is raising rents all over America, we are going to pass the most comprehensive housing bill ever passed in the history of this country. We will build up to 10 million new housing units. We will eliminate homelessness. We will fight gentrification. We will create a national rent control standard. And today, we say to the prison industrial complex that whether they like it or not, we are going to bring about real criminal justice reform in America. We are going to end a racist and broken criminal justice system. We are going to invest in our young people in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration. We are going to end private prisons and detention centers. We are going to end the absurdity of cash bail in this country, where 400,000 people tonight are in jail, not having been convicted of anything, but simply unable to afford the bail they need to get out of jail. We are going to end the disastrous war on drugs. We are going to legalize marijuana in this country. And expunge the records of those who have been arrested. And by the way, when we talk about criminal justice reform, we are going to change a system in which tens of thousands of Americans every year get criminal records for possessing marijuana, but not one Wall Street executive got a criminal record for destroying the economy and the lives of millions of people. Well, I got a radical idea, and that is equal justice under the law, whether you're rich or whether you're poor. And tonight, we say to our brothers and sisters all over this country that instead of demonizing the undocumented immigrants in this country, we are going to pass a complete overhaul of our broken immigration system and provide a path towards citizenship. On our first day in office, through executive order, we are going to provide legal status to the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. And we will extend that program to their parents. We're going to develop a humane border policy. No more snatching babies from the arms of their mothers. No more separating families. No more locking children up in cages. And we will put an end to the disastrous ICE raids that are terrorizing people all over this country. And today, as we think back on those horrific mass shootings which have plagued our country for years, when we think about the 40,000 people who die from guns every year in this country, today we say that our gun policy will be determined by the American people, not the NRA. Our administration will move aggressively to end the epidemic of gun violence in this country and pass the common sense gun safety legislation that the American people want. You know, as a United States Senator, I hear a lot of speeches on the floors of the Senate from my Republican colleagues. And day after day, they drone on about how they as conservatives believe in small government. They as conservatives believe that we should get the government off the backs of the American people. And today I say to those Republicans, if you want to get the government off the backs of the American people, support a woman's right to control her own body. It is a woman who should control her own body, not some politician at the local, state, or federal level. And tonight, I promise you that I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court of the United States who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. Brothers and sisters, all of you know that we are in an unprecedented moment in American history. And it's not just Trump, it goes beyond Trump. It goes to the fact that we are moving toward an oligarchic form of society where a small number of billionaires exercise enormous power over the economic and political life of this country. And as Ilhan said earlier in her remarks, and she's absolutely right, is that real change, and I want you to think back on American history, real change has never, ever taken place from the top on down. It has always taken place from the bottom on up. Real change took place when working people, horrifically exploited, working 7 days a week, fired arbitrarily, when working people 100+ years ago stood up to their employers and they said, you know what, we're human beings. We're not animals. We are entitled to dignity and respect. Whether you like it or not, we will form unions. Real change took place when the African American community and their allies stood up and said, we are sick and tired of the racism and the Jim Crowism and the bigotry, and we together will end racism. Real change took place when well over 100 years ago, women in this country said, we are sick and tired of being second-class citizens. We will have our rights. And some of those women went on hunger strikes. Some of them died. But they stood together with their male allies and said that in America, women will have all of the rights they are entitled to. being a little bit older than some of you, I will tell you that if we were here 30 years ago, not one person in this room, of the many thousands who are here, would have believed that gay marriage would be legal in every state in this country. That did not happen by accident. It did not happen by a Supreme Court one day voting for it. It happened because of the courage of the gay community and their straight allies who stood up and said what 30 or 40 years ago was not popular to say, that people have a right to love whoever they want, regardless of their gender. And we're going to end environmental degradation, and we're going to transform our energy system, being led by the young people of this country in the environmental movement. So here is my point. In this unprecedented moment in American history, we need an unprecedented grassroots movement. Now, I'm a senator, and I'm in Washington, and I know the power of the 1%. I know the power of Wall Street, of the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex. I know the power and unlimited wealth of the 1%. Make no mistake about it. These are extraordinarily powerful people. But at the end of the day, the 1% is 1%. And we are 99%. So if we stand together and not let Trump divide us up by the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation, if we stand together, if we keep our eyes on the prize for an American government and economy that works for all of us, if we are prepared to fight, there is nothing together we cannot accomplish. Thank you all.